And Governor, good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Maria, thank you. I'm probably the least known candidate running for president at 10%, 13% level.
Yeah.
So thanks for having me on.
And do we know everything about your health? What's your reaction to what's taken place?
Well, I'm in the 1% of 1% when it comes to health. That means I do believe I'm like 1 in 1,000, but I've dedicated my life to health and fitness. And hey, when it comes to Hillary, what I think that this demonstrates is just how hard it is to run for president. I mean, talking about burning the candle at both ends, I am concerned for her. I think she probably should take a few more days off. I mean, pneumonia is something very serious.
Well, look, when you say take a few days off, I mean, obviously, we've got 55 days until the election. She can't just take off and not campaign, right? I mean, are you saying that as a competitor? Or do you actually think she should just take care of herself? And I mean, because if she's not campaigning in the next 50 days, that could really be significant for this election.
No, I'm certainly not suggesting for the next 50 days, but it seems to me that maybe a few more days off. Pneumonia is really serious, and it comes when you burn both candle at both ends, and you end up suffocating. I mean, this kills a lot of people, so something to be taken really seriously, and I hope she's okay, and I'm sure she is.
Governor, we got a panel here that's chomping at the bit. Everybody wants to ask you a question. Let me get the elephants in the room out of the room right now. Obviously, you didn't know what Aleppo was when you went on MSNBC recently. Why should the public, and I give you a lot of credit for owning it and going on all the shows and explaining, but why should the public trust you when you actually you didn't understand where the crux of the refugee crisis was taking place in Syria?
Well, I do take ownership of it, but I understand the Syria issue. I mean, here it is, Syria, Aleppo, the epicenter of where this is all happening. You know, you've got Assad on one side, the regime. On the other side, you have the Free Syrian Army. We're supporting them, but they're allied with the Islamists, of which arms are going from the Free Syrian Army to the Islamists, something that we don't want. And then in northern Syria, Raqqa, we've got ISIS, and we're helping the Kurds against ISIS, but the Kurds are sideways with Turkey, one of our allies, but not such a good ally because of our invasion of Iraq, where all of this arguably started in the first place. Look, I think I'm well aware of the situation and just how muddied it is, and for weeks have been talking about how the only solution to this is joining hands with Russia diplomatically to bring this to an end. I certainly hope the ceasefire sticks, and kudos to Kerry for at least initiating what appears to be something that might turn out okay. Yeah,
to be fair, I think a lot of Americans, if you said, what do you think about Aleppo, wouldn't know where it was. I mean, I'm being honest here.
Well,
so do you think that was a gotcha question? I mean, I could pull a city and ask you or ask anybody a question, and if you don't really put it in context, it's hard to understand in many cases. So was that a gotcha question, you think, from the media?
Hey, you know, 90% of America won't know what Aleppo is, but 90% of America is not running for president of the United States.
That's right.
I am. It's something that I should know exactly. And was an Aleppo Day going to happen? With 100% certainty, an Aleppo Day was going to happen. And before the end of this campaign, there'll be another Aleppo Day.
Yeah, I like your style, Governor. Tony Sayegh.
Governor, wondering what you think of this. You know, if you look at the past performance of even prominent third-party candidates who did well. You know, in 1992, Republicans blamed Ross Perot, who lost, but took enough votes away from George H.W. Bush. In 2000, Democrats blamed Ralph Nader for Al Gore's narrow loss in Florida. Looking at the polling, looks like you're doing actually pretty well taking votes from both sides. Understanding that the reality is it's probably going to either be Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton winning on November 8th. What's going to be your indicator of success, understanding that likely fact?
Well, that I do represent 60% of Americans being fiscally conservative. Small government is a good thing. Don't raise my taxes. Socially inclusive. People should be able to make choices. Skeptical that our foreign policies have resulted in a better world. Being for free market. Where's that voice? Well, it's me. It's Bill Weld. And look, this is a two-party this is something that needs crashing right now. They've done this to themselves. 50% of voters that are going to register to vote are registering independent. Where is that representation? In this election, it's me. It's Bill Weld, 2 former Republican governors that served 2 terms each in heavily Democrat states by being just those things I talked about.
Governor Caitlin Huey-Burns here. This climate seems ripe for a third-party candidacy of the 2 most unpopular candidates in presidential history. Why aren't you doing better than 9% at this point? And what states specifically do you think you can move the needle? Well,
first of all, the glass is half full here. I mean, we're doing amazing, and everything is ratcheting up. You know that just 4 weeks ago, from a social analytics point of view, we were reaching 13 million on social media. Today, that number is 52 million. So I'm going to argue that, boy, this thing is going through the roof. With regard to the presidential debates, we need to be in the presidential debates. The clock won't stop ticking if they don't let us into this first presidential debate, but that'll just put more egg on the face of the Presidential Debate Commission, made up of Democrats and Republicans that have no interest whatsoever in seeing another voice on the stage.
What do you need to do to get on that debate stage, Governor?
The big stage, right, the Super Bowl. You know, the presidential debates are estimated to have more viewership than the Super Bowl.
Right. So what are you going to do to get on that stage?
Well, I think it's going to happen, Maria. I mean, I think that the polls are ratcheting up. Well, look, it isn't, you don't make the first debate, we're shutting it off for all 3 debates. The clock keeps ticking. Polls continue to be conducted. So, you know, right now in 6 states, we're over 19%. In 42 states, we're over 10%. And all of this is ratcheting up. So, you know, you allowed me on here this morning. Maybe this interview right here will get it over 15. Thank you.
All right, so we'll see about that. So you think you will make one of the debate stages?
Oh, I think so. And look, this is not, 15% is not something in law. That's something that the Presidential Debate Commission, Democrats and Republicans have.
Got to have 15%.
Well, they make the rules.
Yeah.
Exactly. They've made the rules. But these rules, are these rules democratic? Not really. No, they're exclusionary rules. But the rules are what they are. I just wish my name for the last month would appear on the top line of any of these polls, of which that has yet to occur. My name has yet to occur on the top line of any single national poll.
Okay, but could it be because you're just not resonating?
Or could it be that I'm just not on the top line, and that if Mickey Mouse were on the top line, Mickey would get 30% of the vote because Mickey's a known commodity, but Mickey's not on the ballot in all 50 states. Bill Weld and I are the only third-party candidates on the ballot in all 50 states.
Yeah, it's a great point. Governor, we hope to see you. Thanks so much.